God has a law in the universe that allows us to choose. Do we want God in our life and his attributes? Or do we want hell? Do we want hell's attributes? We get to choose. That is a law in the universe that we get to choose for ourselves. God or the devil, good or evil, or delayed gratification or instant gratification. It's up to us to choose those things. While our environment isn't always fair, while our circumstances aren't always fair, life isn't fair, but the beauty of free will is that we get to choose for ourselves which way our soul will go. But because of the way so many of us live our life, we are very prone to demons. Demons are very present in this world and very much hard at work. In today's video, I have 6 ways demons attack you, 6 ways that they'll ultimately send you to hell by hijacking your free will, by making you do things that are of the devil, and ultimately leading you to reject Christ. I hope this spreads awareness and gives you the knowledge you need to take the actionable step and do whatever you need to avoid attacks throughout your life. The first way demons attack you is through temptation. Now, this is a very commonly known one. Temptation, but also especially regarding things you are especially prone to. So a lot of men especially are prone to lust. So you have to kind of think from that lens. How will they attack you with lust? Will it be porn? Will it be fornicating with women? Will it be any of these things? And it starts one way. It starts to a very small degree. You watch it for the first time. You do this for the first time, and all of a sudden you're very down that rabbit hole, and you realize you can't get out of it. You're watching certain kinds of porn that I don't even want to speak of. You're doing certain kinds of films. I'll just put it at that. That's not life. So demons tend to kind of tempt you just for fun, honestly. They like to see people given a temptation. They love to see people fall to their own devices. So you probably gotten like a certain urge just out of nowhere, unexplainable, to watch porn. And every time you give into that temptation, you are giving the devil more of a foothold in your life. You're letting more of that demon enter you. Every time you resist it, making the devil escape and flee you. But if you're creating a stronger foothold for the devil by giving into the temptation, they will only make it worse and worse. And all of a sudden, you're watching very dirty versions of that porn. And they will convince you that this temptation is fine, that it's worth being tempted. They will convince you, say, to text this one girl. No harm done, right? Until you're fornicating with that girl and you realize that's what it led up to. Just like how the God has plans and strategies for your life, demons also have plans and strategies for your life. And they are strategizing how to destroy you every single day. They actually have meetings. This is biblical, by the way. They actually have meetings on how to ruin your life. That alone should give you enough determination and motivation to destroy their plans and to do the opposite of what they say. That's why there's so much danger in the justice once philosophy that we often trick ourselves into, because justice once doesn't work. If you do something once, you are more likely to do it again. If you lust, you are more likely to do it again. If you entertain a negative thought, you are more likely to entertain another negative thought. You are more likely to get more negative thoughts in your life. Likewise with the opposite. If you entertain positive thoughts, you will get more positive thoughts. But the bottom line is, demons will tempt you with anything that isn't godly. So if it isn't godly, if it isn't from God, they will tempt you somehow with it. Even if it doesn't seem very vital or bad, or maybe it's not evil, but they will still use that against you any way they can to destroy you. So it could be just simply texting a girl. Well, I mean, you want a wife, right? You want a nice little, until it leads to temptation. And then all of a sudden you're deep in this sin. So we have to be vigilant. I think that's the right word. I never use that word correctly. Is it vigilant? We have to be aware of all the devil's vices. Depression and mental health is the second way demons attack you. Now, I want you to think of it this way. If you have a strong body, a strong mind, a strong soul, a strong spirit, for a demon to attack you, they're going to take 100 steps backwards every time they attack you. Because every step forward you take, they fall further behind. If you're meditating every day and restricting your social media time and usage, how are they going to attack you with attention span? How are they going to distract you? How are they going to use distraction as a way to cause you to reject Christ and to reject good things? How could they do that if you are actively fighting against that? And that's the importance of self-improvement, because with self-improvement, we can limit how many ways a devil can attack us. If we know all the self-improvement habits and we stick to them and we know the spiritual implications of such habits, that is a big eye-opener. If you're thinking, I'm going to meditate, and my main motivation for meditating isn't just having a better attention span and focus, but having a better attention span and focus so the demons can't attack you and tempt you. The habit of avoiding lust and to desexualizing your brain, which is a big self-improvement principle. Doing that will make it so the devil has a really hard time making you lust and getting you to do these things. It'll make it very hard for them, and in many cases it'll just make them flee. It'll make them run. So this is why I advocate self-improvement so much, because self-improvement will lead you to God, and ultimately it will lead you to a better life in general, but that's just the life God intended for us. If you're disciplined and motivated and you get things done, it is very hard for a demon to control you and have strongholds over your life. Self-improvement will quite literally give you more control over your life, spiritually and in the physical realm. So get on self-improvement. Go do the habits. Go watch Hamza and then implement the habits. It's very important to do so. I'm so glad I had self-improvement be a main staple in my life before I gave my life to Christ, because without it, I'd be very lost, and who knows if the devil would have tempted me to do something and just led me back into sin and led me back into the way that leads to hell, destruction. I'm so glad I didn't fall through there. And many Christians do. You see many Christians battling lust and battling laziness. I don't deal with any of these things. Newsflash, I don't deal with any of these things. This isn't a thing. These aren't things that I struggle with, because at least not anywhere close to where other people, to the level that other people. I see Christians who watch porn probably every day. They're hiding a lot of secrets. I don't deal with that anymore. And it's all thanks to self-improvement. So get on self-improvement right now. In terms of depression and mental health, a big problem, because I know I kind of strayed off that a little bit, but that was kind of, self-improvement is kind of important to bring up. But there are a lot of traumatic and anxious and unhealthy people, and it's not fair, but there's a lot of people like that, and demons are working overtime to destroy those people because they're just so weak. Depression is weakness, and I hate to say that as somebody who was depressed, but if you're depressed, you're weak. If you're anxious, you are weak. And you know this deep down. You don't want to admit it, but you know this. And I'm sorry for that. And I hope you find self-improvement. I hope you find God and all these things work out for you, as it did for me. God doesn't desire this for our lives. He doesn't desire for us to be scared or depressed. Or 2 Timothy 1:7, God does not give us a spirit of fear. He desires peace and love. When you're depressed and anxious, you are not at peace. You are not. And I don't mean to get back into backtrack a little bit, but if you're being tempted with porn, you're watching porn, there is no peace in that. You're constantly worried, are my parents going to find out? Are my parents going to see this? Is my friend going to know that I watched this? Is my parents going to know? Is my church going to know? There is a secret. There is a weight to having secrets. There is a heavy weight to having secrets. And any bad thing we are ashamed of. And we hide it. I don't have anything to hide. I genuinely don't. I have a past. Yes, I have a past. I've done a lot of terrible things. Done a lot of gross, nasty things. That's not who I am anymore. It's not who I am. And there's a lot of Christians out there who are still struggling with this. And it's like, God doesn't desire this for your life. Just back on the topic of disorders and mental health and all this, a lot of neurological explanations actually come from the devil, from demons. So a lot of eating disorders, or a lot of bipolar disorder, a lot of these things, or anger management, anger problems, a lot of these things come from demons. If you are prone to overeating at any point in your life, demons can use that as a stronghold. If you overeat once, demons can use that against you, as crazy as it is. Now, they might not use that against you. I overate a few days ago. I'm not tempted to eat. In fact, yesterday I ate 1 meal a day. I usually only eat 1 meal a day. I wasn't really hungry. I wasn't tempted to eat anything gross or seed oils or sugar. I'm not tempted. So they can tempt you for sure. But I mean, of course, they're not going to tempt me because, I'm pretty disciplined. They might try. I'm not being egotistical. They got to be vigilant. You got to watch out for these things. But what I'm saying is, if you have bipolar disorder, if you have something wrong with you, you can get healed. In Jesus' name, you can get healed. God doesn't desire this for you. The devil does, because he hates you. The devil hates you, man. Demons hate you. So they will make your life. Of course, ultimately, they want you to go to hell. But they also just want to make your life suck. Really, that's all they just as good people get fulfillment out of helping others and having a purpose that helps others, like I do with this ministry. Demons get fulfillment from hurting other people. They get fulfillment from torturing, for making our lives suck, for making us depressed and anxious. They get fulfillment out of that. And you know how, I gotta do some breath work, man. Getting worked up over here. How can we let the same devil, the same demon who destroys our mental health and our makes us depressed, the same demon who makes us depressed, how can we kill ourselves and go to hell, to a place where that demon is? Do you realize how much it destroys God's heart? We're giving ourselves to demons who don't even like us, that hate us, that want us to suffer, the ones that are creating this mental health problems, this depression, this bipolar. I saw a YouTuber not the other day, a couple of years ago. He ended up committing suicide. His name is Steve Cash. Big childhood YouTuber. I used to love him as a kid. And he killed himself, and he was known for having bipolar disorder. And I'm just thinking the entire time, like, demons really took over this man's life. Really killed him. And I hate to say it, sent him to hell. I hate to say it. He was a cool guy. But I mean, it's kind of clear when you have the spirit of discernment. I mean, I pray I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not judging either. I mean, maybe he was a Christian, but I mean, like, maybe he was saved. Maybe he had a relationship with God. I don't know, but I mean, he killed himself. So the demon won over his life. The same demon that is destroying his life and making him suffer won. I just find that to be sickening. How we can give ourselves over to demons like this. There's so much deception with that. I see a clothing line that Target advertised a little while back that, Satan loves us, or Satan loves pronouns, or Satan loves you, or whatever. Satan doesn't love you. Now, he might pretend to love you if he's using you for his purpose. If he's using you to destroy others, yeah, he might give you good things. He might give you money. He might give you fame. He might give you all these things. He does not like you. One day you're going to be in hell being tortured by him and his demons. He doesn't care about you. He wants you depressed. He wants you anxious. The only reason he will ever not make you depressed or anxious or have mental health problems is if he wants you to just live a life of distraction. Live a life where you're content with everything. And I think we'll probably be getting into that at some point. He wants you to live a life of just being content with everything so that you never revolt, that you never, like I did, being at a low point in my life, I gave my life to Christ. If I didn't have that low point, I would have stayed complacent. Some people can stay complacent and he will let them be complacent. But some people he will torture. And then it's up to you. Do you want to live this lifestyle, or do you want to reject the devil, become aware of his schemes, and actually give your life to Christ and live a life of good? It's up to you, bro. You can beat depression. My depression was cured almost instantly. I'm not saying I don't feel depressed. Sometimes my purpose, I don't follow my purpose. I don't do something right. I don't do self-improvement. It happens. But God gives you a sense of peace and love and joy that you don't get anywhere else. And part of God is doing the good things, doing the godly attributes, the things that God promotes. That's why you feel so good when you help somebody on the street. That's why you feel good when you give somebody money, when you give somebody food who's hungry, a homeless person. That's why you feel good about these things, because that's a godly thing. It's a godly trait. It's a godly decision. Those little decisions make up our life and will make our life better. But so do the big decisions. So it's your choice. You want to give your life to God, or do you want to give your life to Satan? creature that doesn't even care about you. It's up to you, man. It's up to you. Demons will love to use depression to ultimately kill you. So if you want to, out of spite, if you want to vow to never kill yourself, to never do anything like that, and to improve your life and to do better, I consider that a win. Third reason why, I can't talk in front of a camera apparently. Third way that demons attack you is through instant gratification. So if anything gratifies you instantly, so let it be masturbation, whether it be junk food, whether it be money, fame, any of these things that feel good in the moment but really doesn't lead to anything, doesn't lead to any growth or peace or joy, fulfillment. These things, the devil might give it to you. The demons might give you money, might give you these things to be content with your life. If you become a lover, and this is the danger of this, if you become a lover of instant gratification, if you become a lover of this dopamine hit, this dopamine rush that you feel, if you become a lover of that, you are less likely to one day commit to delayed gratification, to commit to fulfillment, commit to things that fulfill you. That's why so many people are depressed, because they're chasing after things that don't fulfill them, but only fulfill their body, their flesh, that feel good in the moment. And those things don't lead you anywhere. It feels good in the moment, but there's no growth, there's no peace, there's no fulfillment out of that. Only God's attributes and God's way of living will give you peace. The devil lives by instant gratification. That's his motto. Hollywood itself is all instant gratification. There is no fulfillment there. A lot of these actors are depressed. Some of them kill themselves, some of them don't, but a lot of them are like fine. They're just kind of content, they're complacent, but they're not happy. They're not fulfilled with their life. They know they're just kind of, they got money, all right, but they're not happy. Most of them are not happy. And I can tell you for one thing for sure, none of them are at peace with their life and their eternity and where they're going when they die. In fact, a lot of these people actually are scared of dying. That's why you see them creating all this technology, and they want AI, and they don't want to die. They want to live forever. But you can't play God. So we'll see how that turns out for them. Anyways, I'm going to try and go through these really quick because I think I'm running out of storage on this camera. So, distraction is the fourth way that demons will attack you and destroy your life. And I kind of touched on this already, but distraction is a really good method because a lot of people don't have, they're not prone to depression or anxiety. They're just kind of normal NPCs, you know. But if they can keep you, because you can be a normal person, you can just be kind of a normal dude, and that's fine. You can be a normal dude as long as the demons know you won't go to heaven, you won't choose God because you're complacent with where you're at. You're fine. They're not going to tempt you with anything else. They're not going to make your life more bad, most likely. They'll just leave you with where you're at, distracted by social media and sports and pleasure, entertainment, and this chick and that chick and this show and that show and this movie. There's a reason why the devil uses Hollywood. And I'm not saying if you watch a Marvel movie, you're going to hell. I'm not saying that. Watch whatever you want. I don't care. I personally don't have any interest in watching that stuff anymore. I have a better purpose in my life than to waste time playing video games or whatever. But just keep that in mind. The devil owns Hollywood. He runs it with his agenda. And there is a reason for that. So don't succumb to distraction. Find time. Be disciplined. Find time in your day to give your life to Christ, to read scripture, to pray, to do good things, to, you know what I'm saying. So you get the gig. So just don't get distracted. Don't get distracted by life, by entertainment, by things that don't even really feel good. I mean, the moment they do, watching a good movie scene, that kind of hypes you up. But afterwards, you're like, I got nowhere from this. I got nowhere. What did I gain after watching a 3-hour movie? Nothing. I got nothing out of it. I didn't learn anything, most likely, unless it's, one of those World War II movies. Those are pretty sick. But, you got nothing out of it. Enjoyment? Who needs enjoyment? What about fulfillment? I'm finding fulfillment and enjoyment out of recording these videos and submitting to God and reading scripture. Am I boring for that? Okay, fine, I'm boring. But at least I'm not giving the devil a way to distract me, a means of taking my life, the devil can't distract me. He can try. I'm not going to let him. So the fifth way demons attack us is through intrusive thoughts. So intrusive thoughts is, I made a video about this. I don't know if it'll be posted before this one or after this one, probably before, I think. But demons love to give us very weird intrusive thoughts. So if you get a lot of weird intrusive thoughts, like you would never, like, you know, something really dark, like take a knife from the kitchen and stab your mom. That's a very demonic thought. But some people get thoughts like that. I used to get thoughts like that are just weird and random. And why am I thinking that? Why am I thinking that? It's not something I would ever do anyway. But demons will use that to get you to do something like that one day. Out of anger, out of desperation. Demons will use intrusive thoughts to get you to do something big. You have to rebuke those thoughts. You have to rebuke thoughts when you get them like that. Then you have to say, no, that's not who I am. Get that out of here. Get out of here, Satan. I'm not doing anything like that. I don't know why I'm thinking of that. It's not who I am. I'm not thinking anything like that. A lot of people, and this is a revelation, a lot of people get intrusive thoughts while they pray. They're praying and they think of something really intrusive and dark, and it's like, whoa, God, I didn't mean to. I don't mean that. I wasn't even thinking that. That's Satan. I think the best way to, and I'm making a video about all this as well, how to combat a lot of these tricks from the devil, but I think the best way is to just have a good attention span, work on your focus skill, do meditation, really focus on building up your focus. I think is the best strategy for improving that and kind of rejecting that devil, that demon of intrusive thoughts. Because I don't really get intrusive thoughts. I mean, maybe. I don't want to say I don't, but I don't think I do. I definitely don't get them constantly. I used to, when I was unsaved a couple of years ago, I would get intrusive thoughts. Like when I was really suicidal, I would get intrusive thoughts like on a minute basis, like nonstop throughout the day, and it would take over my head and I'd hate it. And it would actually kind of deplete my energy a little bit with how many thoughts I'd get in a day. And that does deplete your energy, by the way. It makes you more tired and sluggish. And so definitely watch out for that. Don't entertain thoughts the devil gives you. Dark thoughts that just feel gloomy and not something you would do. Live a life to where you just don't get tempted by those thoughts anymore. You just don't hear them. And that's really just getting in God's presence, working on your focus, so you're not distracted all the time and thinking of random things all the time and going from one thing to the other in your head, which I'm doing right now because I'm on fire right now. I'm speaking this to you, but I'm in a flow state. Like, even though I'm talking really fast, I'm talking and explaining these things, I'm in a flow state right now. So I'm not like thinking of one thing and then I'm thinking about what I'm gonna eat for lunch and I'm thinking about what I'm gonna do later and then thinking about my job and thinking about this or this YouTuber. I'm not thinking of that. I'm focused on this task, which is a really good skill to learn. So the last way demons will attack you is through night attacks or sleep paralysis, or I guess this could be a seventh one, but supernatural occurrences. But in terms of night attacks, if you're getting a lot of sleep paralysis is extremely demonic, by the way. And if you ever open your eyes while having sleep paralysis, you might even see something. Now, if you ever see a demon while on sleep paralysis, that is really a demon, by the way. But the twist is, it's not the true form of a demon, most likely. It's most likely just this figure because demons can morph. Spirits can morph into whatever they want. Angels can. That's biblical. Things can morph into humans or animals, so a demon might morph into like this weird, creepy, slender creature. I'm losing my voice talking so much. And they'll use that to scare you and cause fear in you. Just rebuke them in the name of Jesus. And hopefully you'll be out of the sleep paralysis soon. Those suck, by the way. I used to get those all the time when I was really dark in deep into my sin and my porn addiction back in the day. I experienced a lot of that. It is not fun. Every night, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 times a night, I would just get sleep paralysis. I'm like, stop. This is terrible. And oftentimes when you wake up, you feel a dark presence in your room. That's because there literally is demons in your room. Trust your gut. If you feel a dark presence after sleep paralysis when you wake up, that's because there literally is demons in your room. If you ever feel dark presence, there's probably something spiritual in the area, and it's not an angel. So yeah, sleep paralysis is a big fear tactic used by demons. If you struggle sleeping, so insomnia, could be a demon, could also just be your habits suck. Your habits probably suck. But if for whatever reason the devil doesn't want you to get good sleep, he doesn't want you to operate, he doesn't want you to wake up early and be disciplined, he might actually use that against you. So that's one small tactic he might use. Man. I've just recorded like 3 videos before this, so I'm losing my voice. If you have an irrational fear of the dark, like you get up and you're like just kind of looking in places and like kind of anxious in the dark, probably demonic presence, which isn't really uncommon because there's a lot of demons around us. It's probably one near me right now. Who knows? Not trying to manifest anything, but there might be. So if you always feel like something is behind you, following you, watching you, which is a phenomenon a lot of people have experienced before. I used to experience it all the time. That is certainly demonic. There's an explanation for that. Everybody's like, what is this phenomenon? Why do I keep feeling like something's watching me when I'm behind me? It's a demon. Especially if it's a dark presence and you feel kind of like, you know, spooked out. That's a demon. So we do have angels. Everybody has a guardian angel. Everybody has at least one guardian angel in the spiritual realm. But it's likely not a guardian angel. It's likely a demon that's either attached to you or in the area or, you know, wandering. I don't think demons really wander very much, but could be. But it's most likely a demon attached to you. If you feel weighted down, so if you ever feel weighted down, kind of like heavy, like your back is heavy or your neck is stiff, and now again, it could be just physical. It could just be physical. You could just maybe need a chiropractor or something. Maybe you're just not stretching. But if you feel really weighted down and heavy, oftentimes it's because there's another spirit inside of you, and it's not the Holy Spirit. It's likely a demon. So keep that in mind. If you ever feel heavy and weighted down, I remember feeling like that when I was in my sin, when I was living in my sin and my addictions. I felt that a lot. I felt weighted down and heavy and just kind of tired and sluggish, and so that's demonic. And if you feel something like around you that is protecting you and keeping you safe, and you feel at peace with its presence, which I probably have felt at some point before, I can't recall specific times, but if you feel that kind of protection and peace, it's probably a guardian angel. So if you maybe you're in a stressful situation and all of a sudden you find peace in it afterwards, if that makes sense, but probably a guardian angel is in your presence. Anyways, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I have 7 ways to make demons leave. That's going to be coming out. I'm not going to record it right now, probably this week. So we'll see. It'll probably come out right after this video in the chronological order of videos of content. So anyways, hope you got something out of this video. Hopefully you gained some knowledge about the spiritual realm and demons and how they attack people and how they latch onto you and use bondages to kind of tempt you and your weak points and all these things. So anyways, love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.